So today we'll discuss a DD based video on casting. So I hope you all remember casting process. It's a metal creation process actually. So we'll be creating metal from alloy. It's a combination of different materials. So why we need casting? Let's apply DD based approach into the casting process. First we have what's the first step in DD? Empathize. So we have to identify the reason for going for casting. The main reason should be first thing is we need some metal to do some process. For example, we are making a table and chair. We need some material. Table and chair is made of which material? Iron, steel. Steel which is an alloy of iron. So first we need iron, which is the raw material. Then we need to do some process on the iron. So it's called as alloy. So we'll be adding some material. So can anyone see what materials we'll be adding? Carbon, silicon, chromium, something like that will be added. So when you add this alloying element, it increases the strength of iron and prevents the oxidation. So oxidation of iron can also be called as rust. Very good. So when iron is exposed to oxygen, what happens is that it tends to rust. So you remember the word rust. So rust is nothing but this addition of oxygen. So what happens is that so this is called a rust. Okay. So when iron rust cannot be used for any other purpose, it becomes unusable. So we have to prevent the rust. So the main reason we are adding alloying elements to prevent oxidation. So that's the main reason. And next thing is once we have iron, you have to do some secondary process, which may be unrelated to your domain. So we do some secondary process and make it into a table and chair. So how we will get iron in a specific shape? For example, I need iron in the form of bar or a billion. How we can make it? By molding, casting process. So first we have to melt the material. We have to melt the iron and make it into a block of something. So that process is called as casting. So now we have reason. So the reason is first thing we need some raw material. We need some basic shape. Then only we can mold it into different shapes. So that's the reason why we are going for casting process. Now let's get into the casting process. The first step we need in casting is what we need again. What we need for casting? Mold. So mold can also be called as pattern. The pattern. Then we need some sand. If it's sand casting, we need sand. And then we will be needing something to pour into it. So what is that? What will be pouring into the sand to get the required molten metal? So we need molten metal. So the molten metal can be obtained from the furnace. So furnace is a large scale stove in which we will be melting the material to get the required shape. So the place where the furnace and the casting process takes place is called as foundry shop. Hope you remember. Foundry shop is the place where we'll be doing the casting and molding, and the secondary operations. So that is foundry shop. So these are the things required for casting. So we'll see what one by one. So first thing you can say is sand. So do you remember the name of sand which we'll be using? Very good. Green sand. So though it's called as green sand, what will be the color of the sand? Black. So it will be black in color. The coloration is because of the addition of carbon. So we are adding carbon to make the surface smooth. So if we have touched the carbon, so how will it be? It will be softer carbon. It will be soft. So to get that soft texture, we are adding it to the sand. And also we will be adding some clay to get the mold to be, to take it into required shape. And other than that, we will be adding river sand. So these three things will be the major component of this sand. The sand name is called as green. So that's the first thing we require. Then we require a pattern. So what is pattern actually? The replica of the object to be made. For example, I explained the dumbbell example. So if I need to make a dumbbell, I will have a replica of dumbbell. It may be made of different materials. It may be made of wood, may be made of plastic, or even metal in some case. So that's regarding pattern. So my question is, will it be in the same size as that of the component to be made, or will it be a little larger? the pattern. It will be a little bit larger than the shape of the object to be made. Why we are making it so? To get the required shape. So when you solidify, when metal solidifies, it tends to shrink. So that's why we are using this pattern. So these are the things required for casting process. I hope you understood. So first thing we need is molten metal, then we need sand, and then pattern. Thank you for using this. Thank you.